All right, let's get into it. Let's start, as we always do, with the fights on the weekend. And we have to start in Manchester. My first show for Queensbury.
I was going to say, a big one for you. First one for Queensbury.
Yeah, it felt big as well. It felt different. And it's ultimately, it's a ring, it's a promoter, it's a crowd. But it just felt a bit different. It felt like I was almost cheating on Matchroom. That's what it felt like. But it was great, to have Carl Frampton alongside me.
Yeah, you got a new buddy now.
Yeah, and he's so good. Honestly, he's so good. He's a bit like Tony in the sense that, Tony Bellew, in the sense that he just says it how it is. Like, he doesn't try and sugarcoat it or maybe think, okay, I won't say that about the fighter because I know them. He just says it.
He just says what first thing that comes to his mind.
First thing that comes to his mind.
That's what he's saying. So, yeah, you get exactly his thoughts.
Yeah, and I think in a couple of weeks' time, we get to see Tony and Carl together for the Ben Eubank fight card. So that's going to be crazy. All right, let's get into it. FILIP HRGOVIC defeated JOYCE. Fair?
Oh, yeah.
No problems?
No issues there. I mean, I kind of expected HRGOVIC to win. Holy crap, JOYCE. That chin, what must Zhang have in his fists to put JOYCE down when HRGOVIC is 6'8", he's 250 pounds. He hit him with right hand after right hand, and JOYCE just kept coming. Yeah, it's crazy. That
fight showed me that FILIP HRGOVIC should. There was times in that fight when FILIP HRGOVIC put him together, and he looked really good, like a slick boxer. I almost feel like that should be his thing.
Yeah,
like he's not a power puncher.
No, he's not,
because he landed some big shots, and they didn't even wobble Joe. They kind of a bit off balance, but that was more just Joe being off balance.
Yeah, that's just normal for JOYCE. Yeah. But he never remotely looked even stunned. I mean, Chisora actually had him more hurt.
Yes, good shout.
And Chisora had him more hurt. He's 6'1", and you know he's like more a clubber. FILIP HRGOVIC, I don't know. I think he had some demons there from the Dubois fight. Do you notice the fact that he was letting the right hand go, and then he would just sit on the rope and just like, I control, but I'm not gonna. I reckon he was worried about gassing again.
Yeah, he was, because he was blowing from the second round. Like, we watched him go back to the corner. Me and Carl literally watching him walk back to the corner. And you know when someone just slumps on their seat, and I'm like, 1 second, what round is this? I was like, this is round 2. Yeah. Like, he needs to find his second win very quickly. And he did. I don't know how he did, but he did. I felt like he found success in the middle rounds, and that kind of gave him a bit of a push, a bit of an oomph.
Yeah, and I think Joe always has great stamina, but you could see his shape wasn't staying the same as the fight went on. And I think him seeing that, okay, he's getting more sloppy, he's missing, all right, I'm safe now.
Yeah, I thought Joe was very sloppy, dude.
Oh, he looked, yeah.
Dude, there were times where he kind of tripped over his legs. There were times when he kind of just threw his punches into no man's land. I actually thought it was quite sad to watch. And I know some people critiqued me for saying this and like, oh, he should retire, he should retire. He should retire.
I think he should. Yeah. The first thing I noticed was I was like, oh my God, his legs just look gone. Not from a punch, like they just don't look right. Yeah. And that's always a sign. When the legs really go like that, that's a sign the fighter stick a fork in him.
Yeah, and it's a good point you make actually. And it wasn't because of a punch, as you say. It also wasn't because of tiredness. No. Because they were gone after like round 3, 4. He kind of...
Round 1.
Yeah, the legs looked a bit all over the place. Before I ask you what next for HRGOVIC, let's just kind of get rid of the JOYCE thing very quickly. So you're with me, right? Retire.
Oh yeah, retire.
100%, even though he looked 100%. A lot better.
He did look better than he did in his previous fight and the Cash Ali fight, but what are you sticking around for? I mean, you're at that kind of level now where maybe you could win a European title. Is that what you're in boxing for?
Yeah,
you're not going to win a world title.
He's 39 as well. And he almost becomes the guy now who's sort of fodder for the guys coming up.
Exactly.
They'll look at him and say, I'll match him with Joe because Joe's a big name and, you know, Joe. I don't want him to become that. No. Because it's obviously he can take a punch. We can see that. And the problem is when you can take a punch, you just take more punishment. You know, like Amir Khan. Amir Khan's a great example of this. Amir Khan gets hit, he goes down. Yeah. That's actually a good thing. Yeah. Because hence why Amir Khan's career went on and on and on and on and on, because he's not taking sort of accumulative punishment. He's taking one, then he's out.
Yeah, then he's done.
And you kind of want that as opposed to punch after punch after punch and stand on your feet,
And as well as that, you said about prospects, every promoter is like, right, I want my guy to stop him. To be seen, if you can stop JOYCE, that's it. So, of course, they go out hyper aggressive, hit him in the hope they can stop him. And again, I don't want that.
And he's 39.
You
know, if this was a 32-year-old, then we could maybe have a different discussion. But it's a young man's game. You're 39, you've taken a lot of punishment, and you lost 4 of your last 5 fights.
See there, right there.
Those stats just don't look good for JOYCE. All right, FILIP HRGOVIC, El Animal, now with Abel Sanchez.
Abel Sanchez.
Good trainer.
Great trainer. Excellent pick of a trainer. I think that's going to work very well.
So do I.
HRGOVIC is still for the heavyweight quite young. There's a lot.
Is he 30?
32.
Okay, 32.
I think 32, 33 there or thereabouts. But we had to factor in. Took this fight on 1 month's notice. He can say what he wants about, I was training, but there's a difference between training and being fight training. So he did all this on 1 month's notice with Abel Sanchez. I like what I'm saying.
Agreed. And the way he celebrated in the corner as well when he won, it was almost though he's won a world title.
It was such a relief for him.
Yeah.
It was
and I think he said as well, like, Abel, you've never had the heavyweight world champion. I'm going to be that guy for you.
Yeah.
So I like the link up. All right, let's go down a level. And I mean a level in terms of notoriety, I guess. British heavyweight title compared to what the main event was. What did you make of that?
We went down
Jimmy TKV.
We went down a level in terms of notoriety, but we went up a level in terms of controversy.
Yeah.
We definitely did, because oh boy, was there controversy in this fight.
That was, the referee's just, he's just got it so badly wrong. And you know what the crazy thing is about the referee? He's clearly said break, right?
Yeah,
and then
twice.
he's held Jimmy TKV's arm down, like, get your arm off him. After the fight, I kid you not, TKV's corner was screaming at the ref, like, you fucking said break. And he's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, well, you did.
You can hear it.
And then they all jumped down and they were like looking at the monitors. So the monitors that the commentators use, and they watched it, the replay, and then the red mist descended. They lost the plot with the ref. And he got it wrong. Hence why I think the British Boxing Board of Control have said, okay, rematch.
Do you not think they should have ordered like an immediate rematch, but made it a no contest?
Yeah.
Do you think that because you can clearly hear it's break? Earlier in the fight, I know Jamie TKV hitting the break,
did the same
and
thing.
he was, but the difference is that wasn't a fight-ending punch. And straight away the referee was like, no, none of that.
Yeah.
He acknowledged it. He didn't acknowledge this. He administered a count, and that literally lost this fight for TKV, who was winning every round.
You know what it is though? Say they do make it a no contest. I mean, I don't know how it affects his career. Do you know what I mean? Okay, you make it a no contest, or it's a KO defeat. I mean, I don't know if you think TKV is going to go on to do anything at world level. No. But I just feel like either way, you get your chance again.
Yeah, look, I don't think he's going to go on. I think
it's almost like the no contest that was made for Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. That's not helped Devin Haney in any way.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That probably, it means nothing.
Means nothing.
Yeah, you're always there, but you've still taken the punishment.
Everyone know you got knocked down like 4 times, whatever it was, and it doesn't change it. You got beat up and it's affected your career. It doesn't really change it.
I would say with TKV, he was winning this fight comfortably. He wasn't down. Prior to that, he didn't seem in any sort of trouble. In fact, David Adelaide was looking so ragged because he was like, I can't get to this guy. I think it should. I know he's already lost his old prior to this, so it's not going to, but just to be able to say, look, it's no contest. We'll draw a clean slate. Let's start again.
Fair point, because people just look at the records and they don't understand the defeats. It's almost like his first defeat, TKV, was stopped on cuts.
Exactly.
But it says TKO, so you think, did he get knocked out when it was really cut? So you're right, maybe they do or should have done a no contest. A couple of interesting fighters on the undercard. Jack Rafferty beat Corey O'Regan.
Oh, he looked good, doesn't he?
Rafferty looked good, looked strong. So but Corey O'Regan, to be fair, looked way out of his depth. Like, that's actually bad matchmaking.
Was unreal. Like, it looked like 2 different weights.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah, you had a guy coming up. You had a guy that had never fought. So he's coming up. He's never had a 10-round fight before. And he's fighting a guy that is a massive 140-pounder.
Huge.
And punches like a mule.
Absolute.
I mean, good luck in taking that guy.
Yeah, you're never going to win that fight. Yeah. It was for the Commonwealth title. I like Jack Rafferty's story.
How far is Rafferty behind Adam Azim and Dalton Smith?
Well, I'm not going to say after this fight he's right there, because look, context, you got to take it all in context. I'd say I want to see him in there with a fully fledged 140-pounder. Yeah. Maybe, I know Josh Padley's at 135, but maybe Chamberlain was on the undercard. There you go.
Hey, you know what? I like that shout.
Mark Chamberlain,
that's a great shout there. Then we'll know.
Then we will.
Mark's actually, believe it or not, from someone that was campaigning at 135, he's a big 140.
He's huge at 140.
He's a big 140.
Like he is not small at that weight.
Yeah, and he's not playing around as well. He was on the cusp of something really big. It's been taken away. You fight Jack Rafferty and win, you're back.
Oh yeah, you're
back. So
you were there.
Makes sense. Tszyu fought in Australia. A couple of back-to-back defeats for Tszyu. This one was a must-win. Not just a must-win, a must-look good.
I think he looked good enough.
He looked good.
Yeah, he looked good enough. I mean, the first couple of rounds were really kind of nothing rounds. But then once he realised, I can hit this guy at will, didn't have the power to like properly put him out. But yeah, the writing was on the wall. Accurate, good shot selection. Busted the guy's face up.
Yeah, badly.
Tszyu needed that. Because you can say whatever you want to say about the Fundora fight. Remember, he was meant to fight Thurman. Yeah. You go from a 5'6" Keith Thurman to a 6'6" Fundora. It's a bit of a difference on like a week's notice.
Especially now that we consider Fundora the best 154-pounder out there. And if there's any argument as to Fundora not being the best, everyone says potentially the second best is Bakram.
Yeah.
Who destroyed Tszyu. I mean, obliterated him. So to go from where Tim was, this unbeaten fighter that was going to do this and do that, to having back-to-back defeats, I thought this was a very good win.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very good win against Joey Spencer, wasn't it?
Joey Spencer.
Good win. And now I think we roll on to Keith Thurman.
Yeah, and Joey Spencer was highly ranked. PPC were really pushing him a couple of years ago. So, you know, it's not like he beat just, any, little cream puff there. He beat a guy who there was a lot of hype about a couple of years ago. It's got to be Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
He propped Brock Chavez. I know not the best. And
Dude, not the best. Not the right weight class.
By many weights. Yeah. Not just like one or two, by many. By flipping many.
Yeah, he's at least, Brock Jarvis is at least 4 weight classes out of his weight class.
That's insanity. No wonder that's how Keith Thurman got his knockouts back.
So that's why I'm kind of almost... Look, Keith is at the age and stage of his career where if you Keith, just give me Tszyu.
Yeah.
But really it should be one more against someone of note and then Tim. But I get it, right? Keith's a big name. It will sell out an arena.
Easy.
He'll come in and talk trash and I think he'll get busted up.
Oh, I think he will get annihilated.
Yeah.
We might see the first stoppage loss of Keith Thurman.
Damn.
I know.
All right, there has been quite a lot of news. There were a few fights in America. If we have time at the end, we'll get to those as well. I know a lot of you guys said Abdullah Mason and et cetera, et cetera. We'll get to it, trust me. But there's been a lot of news, none bigger than this. Look at you smiling already. This Dmitry Bivol, Benavidez, WBC, Beterbiev, Turkey situation.
Oh, man.
It's just... Literally, this has stolen all the headlines for the last 3 or 4 days. For those of you that have been living under a rock or been on Mars, let's give you a brief understanding of what's happened. So obviously, Dmitry Bivol beat Artur Beterbiev. He's mandatory for that WBC title is Mr. David Benavidez, coming off that really good win against David Morrell. 3 days ago, Mauricio Sulaimán sort of released the fact that they are now going to enter purse bids. And I was like, oh my God, this is exciting. Because I was like, okay, what a match I'm going to do here? Are they going to have him, Bivol, fight on a PBC card? And then less than 24 hours after that tweet, Bivol said, you know what? Threw the belt away, and Mauricio Sulaimán's lost the plot since.
Yeah, he is not best pleased at all. He's not used to that.
Yeah.
The IBF, the WBO, 2 more strict sanctioned bodies, they're used to it. Sulaimán is like, how dare you throw my belt away? No one's done that in years. When's the last time? Riddick Bowe. Yeah. Exactly. And Canelo did it, and he was fine with that. Canelo can do that. Canelo can do whatever he wants.
How dare you? How dare you, Bivol? Even though I've gone against you because you're Russian and I've said things about you in the past, it's okay. How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? And this is a guy who had many, many, many opportunities to order when he was mandatory for Canelo, Dave Benavidez. Oh, he never did that.
Interesting, isn't it?
Never did that.
Yeah.
But of course, as soon as he's mandatory for Dmitry, for someone else, let's go.
Okay, removing all the politics, we can get into that as well if you want, but removing that, are you upset we're not going to see, or at least not now, Bivol Benavidez?
Yes and no, because I look at that style and I think, oh my gosh, that against Bivol, the movement of Bivol. Benavidez he's so cute up close as well. That's what people don't, like, he can slip those punches up close. He would be on Bivol like a bad smell, and he's massive.
Yeah.
So I'd love that, but I want to see the Beterbiev trilogy at the same time.
Yeah.
If Beterbiev, I think you said it in a video, if he was like 31, 32, seriously go and fight Benavidez.
Yeah, even if he was 35.
Yeah.
You can go a bit older. If he was 36, 37, I'll say, okay, go and do Benavidez and Beterbiev have one, and then eventually you guys will meet in 2027.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Meet in 2026.
But the fact he's that age.
He's 40. You know, he may have one good performance left in him.
Yeah.
May. We don't know. For that reason, get the trilogy fight. You're doing one each. You know, you could argue out of those 24 rounds, you could argue that they've maybe won the same amount of rounds.
Yeah.
You could seriously argue that we need to see it settled.
Yeah, agreed. I am upset that we're not seeing Bivol Benavidez just because I've seen 24 rounds of Bivol Beterbiev, and it would be nice to see a genuine threat being chucked into the middle of that, like a bomb being chucked into the middle. And Benavidez is that, right? But at the same time, I'm with you. Like, it's one apiece. You need a trilogy. You need to decide who is the best light heavyweight of this generation. And right now, it's still up for grabs.
Yeah, they're levels above. It's not like you're talking about 2 contenders who've had 2 really close fights, but you want to see both of them go on to world honors and stuff. These are the best in their division. Who is the best? Yeah, that's what we want to see. You want the score settled.
What I don't like about Mauricio Sulaimán in this, obviously, again, look, I get it. You're upset. Someone has basically thrown the belt away. He started talking about people's purses.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude,
why?
like you're head of the WBC. You're not a promoter. I get when Eddie does it. I get when a manager does it because, you know, that's the game they play. When the head of the WBC or any sanctioning or governing body does it, I'm like, what are you doing? He started saying things like, we offered, or he was offered 8.6 million or whatever, and he got paid 2 million or whatever it was to fight. But I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you revealing the fighter's purse?
And again, you'd expect that from a promoter.
Yeah.
Ahead of a sanctioning body. I mean, Sullivan does behave like that, though.
Yeah.
He's walked fighters like Canelo to the ring.
He's worn Canelo hats.
That can't be happening.
Yeah.
With a sanctioning body.
Yeah.
No, they need to be the most impartial of impartial. You can't be doing that. And Eddie Hearn's refuted those claims. He's actually said, no, for both fights, they've made actually more than the respective 8 mil or so that he's saying he'd get.
Do you think, like, if this was just down to Bivol, and maybe it is, but obviously Bivol's got people behind him, right? Most notably Turkey's behind. If this was just Bivol's choice, do you think Bivol would fight Bivol Benavidez? If this was just his choice, same money, same arena, same everything, who do you think he would want to fight?
That's a good question because Bivol is quite a prideful individual. And I think he'd like to leave the Beterbiev fight, like the trilogy, knowing that I've done it, I've won.
Okay.
Not leave it at one apiece.
Okay,
you
fair.
know, that's stone unturned. But at the same time, he would relish the challenge of Benavidez. I know that. And I think he would take the Benavidez fight.
Yeah, just for the idea of something new.
Something new.
Yeah, and what it does do as well, and look, say what you want about how fights have sort of become a lot bigger in Saudi and fights have become bigger in the UK, nothing still beats a fight in Las Vegas.
Oh, man.
Nothing still beats a fight in Las Vegas. It just doesn't. And that's where a Benavidez fight would be.
Exactly.
And it would almost be going to the scene of the crime where he beat Canelo. And it would be exactly the same, right? All the fans would be against him and he could go in there as almost the underdog and come out the hero. I think he would love it.
I think he'd love it. I think he'd love to do that again. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I would pick him over Benavidez.
I would. But you know I'm Team Bivol.
We both are.
Yeah.
But I can look at that
Benavidez
and say,
is a problem.
That's a problem.
Sorry, Benavidez is a problem. Apologies. So we are going to go to the trilogy then.
We are going to go
Trilogy's
to the trilogy.
happening. I'm hearing October, potentially, opening of Riyadh season 2025. That's when their first events are. I don't mind it.
Great way to open Riyadh season.
I don't mind it, dude.
No.
I don't mind it. And if I'm Benavidez, yes, I'm upset, but ultimately you can just wait for the winner. You'll fight the winner in February or March. Now. Yeah.
So he's world champion at 175 pounds.
I hate that, by the way. I hate the idea of being elevated to like, it never sits well with me, someone being elevated to championship status. Why don't you just make it a vacant belt and he fights the next man down?
Yeah, I think that's the only reason why they have the interim title is to avoid all that. But like, it makes so much sense just to have the next man down, fight for that vacant title. But the good thing for him is he can actually have an interim fight. Callum Smith.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one, isn't it? Yeah, Callum looks so good against Boatsy. For Callum, look, he wants to become a world champion again. This is your chance, right? Although this might be the toughest. No, actually isn't because he lost to Beterbiev, but it's a tough ask. But it comes down to pounds and pence or dollars and cents because it's going to be in America. How much are they going to pay Callum to travel?
An awful lot because Callum Smith demands high purses and that's because he's got the track history. He's won the World Boxing Super Series. He beat George Groves, former champion. He's been in there with Canelo. Yeah. Callum Smith been in there with Beterbiev. It won't be cheap. And that's why I look at someone maybe like an Anthony Yard as well as a potential. Because Anthony Yard, you could maybe, if Callum Smith is this, maybe we'll knock a zero off for Anthony Yard.
I like the Anthony Yard shout, you know.
I do, don't
I like the
I like that one because he's going to beat. Look, Lyndon Arthur. He could prove us wrong, but we all think he's going to beat Lyndon Arthur. But what's going on with him? Team Yard now have a built-in excuse. Oh, you lost. You know why do we care? We want a world title fight. Benavidez. There you go.
Okay, play a game. Rank them in hardest of opportunities for Yard. Right. So he's at the Kovalev. He's at Beterbiev, and now you're potentially talking about going to America to fight Benavidez. Hardest out of those three. What was the hardest?
Beterbiev.
Yeah. And then
had to be Benavidez because I think with Kovalev,
Kovalev the easiest going to Russia.
Going to Russia, yeah, but you were talking about not a peak Kovalev.
Yeah, at all.
Inexperience cost him that fight.
Peak Benavidez.
Peak Benavidez.
Like, with a capital P.
The only reason why I pick Beterbiev is because Beterbiev.
Yeah,
you know, this is like, who's the hardest? Like, Beterbiev's name is just that's it.
Whatever the answer is Beterbiev. Whatever the question, Beterbiev. Agreed. Yeah.
And then you're talking about a peak Benavidez. So yeah.
Well, they're going to make a decision soon. Oh yeah. We're going to find out who Benavidez is going to pick, and hopefully
PBC are going to want to do a show with him. We got a world champion now, so there we go.
I want PBC would probably look at Callum Smith as the bigger name.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
They could sell that on pay-per-view.
It's pretty easy, isn't it, to sell? So, all right, there is a unification fight coming up.
Yes, there is.
This Saturday. It's a big one, Atlantic City as well, where when I was growing up, a lot of the fights used to be Atlantic City. Mike Tyson fought there.
Arturo Gatti was the boardwalk hall.
Yeah, everyone's fought. And then all of a sudden, it kind of vanished.
Yeah.
No one spoke about it. And now it's back. Ennis versus Stanionis. Ring Magazine title up for grabs as well. Ennis looks really bad on the scales. He's not even hit the scales yet, but just the photos. I'm like, if you've got to lose more, and I'm guessing he's probably still got to lose 3 or 4 pounds of waterweight.
3, 4, maybe 5.
Maybe 5. Where? How?
I was looking forward to this fight until I seen that picture. Because I was thinking, Ben, this is his chance. This is Boots' chance because there's no rehydration clause, anything like that. This is your chance to look good for the first time in a couple of years. And then I seen that picture.
Even if there's no rehydration cap, he still has to make 147.
God.
And 147, I mean,
mate,
it's just, it's too much.
Mate.
Why do they do it to themselves? Like, why do fighters do this?
I don't know.
Like, why kill yourself when you can just jump up a weight class? Like, Virgil Ortiz looks refreshed at 154 pounds.
Virgil Ortiz was hospitalized on more than one occasion trying to make this weight. And then he moves up. I know you can say it's only 6 pounds. He looks a different beast.
Yeah, 7 pounds.
7 pounds.
Yeah.
But he still, 7 pounds when you're that dehydrated, he looks normal again. Man, Boots looked awful.
Yeah.
Like,
and by the way, Stanionis didn't.
No, Stanionis
looked good. Looked as normal.
And he's not a bad fighter, Stanionis.
Dude, I think this is going to be close.
I thought this fight, when they announced it first, I was like, right, this is a Boots win. Easy, right? No disrespect to Stanionis, but this weight cut is going to bring him right into the game. Yeah. It's going to bring him right into the game.
I agree. I actually think 60-40 Boots. Oh, yeah. Just because it's Boots and you expect him to win. And I said this on my YouTube channel today. The carrot's been dangled in front of Boots. You stay at 147, potentially Garcia, potentially Haney, undisputed.
I'd love to know who is advising him. Because if you're in his team and you see how much he's struggling, surely you're having words with him and saying, do we really need to do this?
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to, and I'm sure Eddie'd be the same. Eddie would be someone where if he knows, right, there's no point him weighing in at this weight, just move up. He'd happily like work with him at 154. There has to be, I can't understand it.
You know what? Yeah, obviously I am not an athlete by any stretch of the imagination, but I did that weight cut just to see what fighters kind of go through in those last kind of 3 or 4 pounds that they have to kind of drain from you. And again, look, I didn't have a professional with me, just me and a couple of guys that know what they're doing, right? I'm telling you now, that last couple of pounds for me, dude, they had to kind of hold me up physically on the scales. Like, and I was like, and this is me trying to get down to 173 or whatever it was. It's not, it's not that much of a weight cut. I can't imagine how he's feeling trying to get down to the 147 limit. And no wonder in his fights, in his last couple of fights, he's maybe looked a bit off. Because as he's getting older, he's naturally growing. Yeah. And sometimes these fighters have got to understand, if you're naturally growing, move. Move.
You think of it like this, Triple G, middleweight, pretty much all his career, right? When he came to prominence, he was in his early-ish 30s, early to mid-30s. At that stage, probably not going to grow much more. So you can stick at middleweight. He's been a welterweight since his early 20s. He's in his late 20s now. That body is not cut for welterweight anymore.
Yeah. Who are you going for?
Boots, but ugh.
What, stoppage or late? Late stoppage points?
No, I'm going to say points.
I'm going to say
I was
points
going Boots to win this fight by stoppage before. Once I seen that, I was like, oh, it's closer.
Dude, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if I'm going to stop and watch it. I wouldn't be shocked if I go over to boxing scene and it says Stanionis has caused the upset.
No.
Honestly, I'm like, no. After watching, again, I am high on Boots, but not as high as I once was.
No.
Like, hearing, everyone was like, oh, Boots. He could beat Crawford. He could do this. And all these things could be true.
Yeah, they could be.
I have not seen evidence of it yet.
No. And as I said, he's looked not the best the last 2 fights. And man, if he goes in there and he's done this weight cut all wrong, that's the leveler. You're so much better than Stanionis. Now you've leveled the game.
Yeah. Look, there is no rehydration cap.
That's the one good
thing. As you say, unification fights, so no rehydration cap. So that's the one blessing that he can pretty much walk into the ring what he wants.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to put on 25 pounds.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I dread to know.
He's going to come into the ring a light heavyweight. Do you know how crazy that is?
He 147. He'll be about 175. Yeah. He might be 175 there. That's crazy. Man's weighing in light heavyweight.
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. I always say this. The weights are crap in boxing. These guys have to weigh the same for all of a minute. And then they can just go in separate directions. And in the ring, on the night, they're completely different weight classes. I'm guaranteeing you, Stanionis will probably put on about 13, 14 pounds.
Oh, yeah, easily.
And he's going to fight a guy that's going to be 13, 14 pounds higher than him. You know how mad that is?
It's crazy when you think about it.
That's boxing. That's boxing.
You're going to have a guy who's going to weigh in probably at middleweight, right? When he like rehydrates.
Yeah.
Even though a guy who's going to weigh in light heavyweight, two weight divisions bigger.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But some might say the guy that's weighing in at middleweight will have better benefits because he's not killed himself to make the weight as much. So
I mean, I'd be going, if I was looking at I was looking at Boots' body. If I was Stanionis, I would be just from the first bell hit that body.
And that's what Stanionis does.
Yeah.
Go and watch Stanionis' fights. He does. All right, talking about big weight gaps. You know
weight is just the word.
Yes.
When it comes
Jarrell
to this
Miller,
guy.
Jarrell Big Baby Miller, FABIO Wardley. Obviously, I was there at Portman Road to do a bit of a press tour thing, if you like, walking around the pitch with FABIO, speaking to Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller, I'm not even joking, I would say weighed about 330 pounds.
Yeah, easily.
But he didn't look fat. He looked 330 pounds like a linebacker. He looked like, is that the position in the NFL, the big dudes that smash into other people?
I think
he
so,
was that guy. He looked like that guy.
Did you see the Norwich shirt he had on? It was like, how did they find the shirt that
5XL.
Oh,
that's 5
5XL.
5XL.
Just 5XL.
5XL. He made FABIO Wardley look like a middleweight.
FABIO Wardley's not small.
No, he's not. FABIO Wardley's what, 6'5",
6'5",
17 odd stone. That's a big man. Big dude. Like, give me that now. That's a big dude.
Alexander Usyk is heavyweight champion of the world, and we potentially are looking at a guy who outweighs him by 110 pounds.
Yeah. That's kind of what he outweighed Daniel Dubois. He outweighed Daniel Dubois. They were obviously, it's weird because obviously it all kicked off about this song.
Yeah.
This diss track.
That
FABIO Wardley has supposedly commissioned, which he hasn't, but that was made. And I think DJ Majestic played it out on Saturday at the HRGOVIC JOYCE fight. Team Miller heard it. And they took this as a very serious diss.
He was not happy.
Dude, I thought he's doing his good thing. He's selling the fight. And I was like, this is great.
That's what I thought.
And then when I kind of went back with him backstage, I could see the steam still on his face. I was like, whoa, this guy is actually very, very serious now. He wasn't happy.
No, and you could tell that wasn't fake anger. That was serious. Yeah. I want to kill you kind of anger. And FABIO Wardley kind of felt bad. He was like, what the hell? But he wasn't standing down either.
No, he wasn't standing down, but it was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, you going crazy? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then Jarrell hit his face. And I was like, ooh. Yeah. Because it's all well and good, like push and shove. When you touch someone's face, it can maybe be taken the wrong way. But look, I think it's a good matchup. Do you think it's a good matchup?
Yes,
one second. There's a pause.
I do think it's a good matchup, but oh boy, it's dangerous for FABIO.
Okay, yeah,
it is flipping dangerous,
dude. It's ridiculously dangerous.
I think this is a much better matchup than Pulev, because Pulev is awkward. He's old. He knows how to spoil. He knows how to survive and spoil his way, even if he's going to lose. Probably to a point to loss at yeah, exactly. He'll turn a fight that should be fun into a please just get it over with type of affair. Jarrell Miller is going to be on FABIO Wardley from that first bell, like white is to rice. And the great thing is, we know Miller can take a good shot. FABIO Wardley, everyone he's hit, gone.
Yeah.
What happens when someone takes it?
Dude, I've been asking the question like for the last couple of weeks, who hits harder, Dubois or Wardley?
Oh, I'd say Dubois.
Okay. Dubois landed clean on Jarrell Miller's big head, and Jarrell ate those punches. He didn't go down. It was a referee that said, okay, enough's enough.
And he was knackered.
Yeah.
And he only had, 3 weeks notice to prepare?
Notice.
He's got loads of time. He's got 2 months.
Yeah.
Mate.
He said he's going off to Thailand. He's doing his camp in Thailand.
I wonder why.
I was like, stay away from those strip clubs, dude. Stay away from those strip clubs. Just focus on the boxing. But look, I think it's risky. But look, Fabio's got big ambitions. And I guess, look, if you're now wanting to kind of gate crash the world level scene, then Jarrell Miller is that guy that you might need to go and see.
He is that guy you might need to go and see. And, Miller, man, he's a tough night. People say they want FABIO Wardley in there with a world level opponent. As far as I'm concerned, he beat Andy Ruiz.
He did.
That puts you world level.
Yeah.
That puts you world level. Whatever way he beat Andy Ruiz, that put you world level. And Dubois, you hung tough. He gave as good as he got in there at times. Dubois is consensus being the second best heavyweight in the world.
No, he is. I think Dubois is. So yeah. And that's the guy that you pushed all the way. Like exactly. Dubois had to find his second win, had to question himself to get that win. Dad there. Size means a lot. Size means a lot. And Jarrell Miller's massive. I don't think people understand just how big he is. Like Dubois is a big guy. AJ, big. These are all big human beings. Jarrell outweighs them by nearly 100 pounds.
And he knows how to use that size.
Yeah, he's not, this is it. He's not slow.
No.
It's weird because he's not slow on his feet.
I think people don't understand that. They look at Miller and they see him throwing loads of shots and they think, oh, he's got a high work rate. If someone's 330 pounds and they're leaning on you and you're trying to push him, how much effort that must take for the opponent, and then he's hitting you, and then you cannot move this guy. He knows how to use that size to good effect.
The story of Fabio Wardley needs to be made into a movie.
It's crazy,
I didn't realize that he first picked up a glove when he was 20. So he first picked up a pair of boxing gloves when he was 20. I just find that incredible. And for him to sort of be unbeaten, obviously British, Commonwealth champion, etc., but him to then fight at Portman Road.
I know.
I mean, he's talking 30,000 in there. His 10-year arc is insane.
And he didn't, it's not even, Anthony Yarde had very few amateur fights. He didn't even have any.
No.
Just white collar, which is literally, you may as well not be doing anything at all.
Yeah.
It's insane. I think his story is amazing. And I think Fabio Wardley, I feel bad because I really like him. I think as a character, he just comes across as an absolutely top guy.
Oh,
but I picked against him so many times.
So same.
It's just so difficult to get your head around that.
Yeah, I said Adelaide and I think I said Fraser Clark.
Yeah, I think second time I did pick Wardley, so I got it right.
I think first time I picked Fraser.
Yeah,
second time I think I picked Wardley as well. But I certainly remember picking Adelaide to win.
Yeah, I did as well.
And
I thought that as
well. Put them both into another dimension. Both of them. Like, honestly, dude,
that Fraser Clark fight is still scary.
No.
That's still a scary
I think Fraser's
knockout.
still got a dent there, you know?
Well, he's back next week against Tete. Good old Ebenezer Tete.
Yeah, smart matchmaking.
Yeah. That's great matchmaking. You can't look any worse than Dylan White did.
No, certainly
But I'm going to keep an eye on that because that was scary.
No, it's bad. It's bad. Who are you picking in this one?
I am going to go with Fabio.
Really?
But I am seeing online, I'm probably seeing more people picking Miller, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if he starts as the underdog, Fabio.
Yeah.
Slight under. Very slight,
I think I favour just Miller.
Really?
Yeah, I think I favour Miller to win. I think it's so risky, this. I really do.
I do as well. I think this is... Fabio said, look, that's what he wanted. It wasn't like Frank put a gun to his head. He was like, no, get me Miller.
Yeah, this is Miller with a camp. This is Miller that doesn't mind fighting away. This is Miller that's super experienced.
He relishes being the villain. He relishes coming into a place.
On the villain thing, what do you make? Oh, look, there will be some that say, 1 second, this guy had a pharmacy in his body when he was supposed to fight AJ. Yes, he's, done the time for his crime. But there will be some that say, 1 second, how's he getting these kind of opportunities when the history says he's a drug cheat? And all of a sudden now he's got like 3 or 4 huge paydays.
Yep.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this way, but he sells.
Yeah, and we're not the judge and jury, are we?
Exactly. I mean, you think of it like this. That day of reckoning press conference, I think you might have been hosting it.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about, look what Miller said to Joshua. They weren't even fighting one another.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think that was Dev hosting it. But you're right. It's all about Miller. I said if Miller's fit, I'd have him on every single heavyweight card.
Oh, I would as well.
Because I think he's just the best salesman.
And he will sell that. As I said, he sold it and he wasn't even fighting AJ.
Yeah.
Because if there's another heavyweight on there that he's a bit of a rival to, he is literally going to be going at you for the jugular.
It's funny. I asked him in the interview, I said, look, okay, let me give you the 3 fights that you want. And I said, Wardley, obviously, AJ Usyk. And as soon as I said AJ, I kind of looked at him and his eyes lit up. He wants that AJ fight more than any man alive for some odd reason. He just wants it. I don't know why. AJ has been teasing.
I was going to say.
There's little footage going around, him jogging around Nigeria, him looking like he's sort of mind looks like he's on something.
He looks good.
Now. It's almost like a pre-camp before a camp.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he is injured, like in terms of like boxing training.
Yeah. Is he?
Well, that's what Eddie Earn says.
Not injured. Not injured. I mean, it must be a little niggle because I haven't heard anything.
Must be a little niggle or something because he can't punch. So maybe
okay, fair. Maybe then.
Maybe
his hands do look a bit bashed up, AJ. Every time I see his hands, they look really bashed up all the time.
His hard as he does. Oh man, you're going to do some damage. But you know what I know with AJ? He looks in a good place. I'm going to say that I think he's moved on from Tyson Fury. I think that was something he wanted that fight. He said it to you at the Ring of War show. He just seemed fixated on Fury. Fury goes, retires. And I think he's been waiting low key just to see. And I think now he's like, you know what? Last roll of the dice. Let's not, it's like waiting for a girl to be single. It's like, let's not wait. The hell with that. There's more fishing to see. Miller, I'm telling you now, if Jarrell Miller beats Fabio Wardley, because Joshua won't be, I don't think, back by the time they fight, right? I think he'll be just maybe starting camp. Yeah. They have to do it.
Okay, 1 second. All right.
They have to do it.
Okay. Wilder fights the same month.
Wilder does fight the same month.
So you'd rather see AJ Miller than AJ Wilder?
Every day of the week.
Okay, same.
Every day of the week.
I think Wilder's a bigger story, but I agree. I think Miller could make it into a bigger fight. Obviously there's so many hypotheticals we're playing here, but I feel if Miller beats Fabio, I think, I'm with you. Miller versus anyone.
Miller versus the history with AJ.
Yeah.
You get to do the face-to-face. We never
By
got to see the first
By the
one.
way, I think Miller is a good fighter for any of the heavyweights.
Oh, he's a great fighter for
But
any
I'm
of the
thinking
heavyweights.
literally, he could go in with Parker and beat Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's got that about him where him versus Bacody's a great. Like, he's got this about him. It'll make it a tough night's work for Usyk.
Could you imagine him against Bacody? Carnage.
Bloody hell, bro. I don't think there's a ring heavy enough. You'd have to reinforce the fucking turnbuckle.
Could you imagine they got into a clinch, feet came together, they both fell? I mean, that ring is gone. It'd be like Brock Lesnar.
Dude,
it'd
be one of the heaviest heavyweight fights of all time. Like both of them.
You're talking 600 plus pounds of weight there.
Yes. But 600 pound is weird because they're both movers.
Yeah.
So it's strange. Okay, that's what we want AJ to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think AJ does do? Because I've now almost become resigned to thinking AJ fights someone like Dillian White. I'm thinking AJ.
I hope not.
You know why? Because you like the Miller one and the Wilder ones. So they're fighting in June, which basically means they're not going to fight again until the end of the year. I don't think AJ sits out all of 2025. You're talking about that means AJ has to sit out. The only opponent that's out there who's not named Tyson Fury that doesn't have anything right now to do is Dillian White.
Dylan White or Joseph Parker. But I did hear Dylan White say he's going to fight in June. Yeah, I think he said that to you.
Did he? I didn't even hear. Okay.
I think he said he'd be back in June. And DAZN had GBM on Friday in the York Call, and Izzy Asif, the promoter, said Huey Fury's going to be out in June.
No,
I'm just saying. I'm
telling you, there's absolutely no chance that Dillian White fights Huey Fury.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you're putting two and two together and making a bloody cake out of this. There's no way there's no way Dillian White fights him, surely.
Okay, maybe I am just putting two and two together and getting 22. But yeah, really, I mean, I said Dillian White a couple of weeks ago and you shut me down straight away. And I was
you know what it is? Because like you, I've given up on the Tyson Fury thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like AJ just wants to have a fight. Him and Dillian White were supposed to fight
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Dillian White is, I guess, kind of back. We haven't seen him in there with anyone, right? But he's kind of back. They seem to have a history. It just seems like an
sell.
obvious fight
O2 Arena,
to make. Yeah, exactly. No stadium, just an O2 Arena or the Co-op Live, whatever, because everyone seems to be fighting at the Co-op Live right now.
We love the Co-op.
I feel like everyone's got to deal with it because everyone's fighting there. I just feel like it's a fight the public would get behind.
They would. And I think the history there, it doesn't matter how bad Dillian White has looked in the past. He hasn't lost since Tyson Fury. So you can always say that. You'd be like, well, who has he lost to? He lost to Fury, his last loss. So he's been undefeated since then. Josh was on the rebound. So yeah, you could sell it. And believe me, it would sell. It absolutely would. Do the O2 easy. Do the Co-op easy. No questions asked.
Comfortably. I feel like AJ and his team just need to...
Would you put it behind a paywall? I wouldn't. 2 years ago they did, but now I wouldn't.
AJ fighting for free on DAZN. Do you know what the problem with that is?
Yes.
Do you know how much AJ gets paid?
Is. Yes.
Who's bankrolling that then? Who's giving AJ? It doesn't for AJ. It doesn't. The name of the opponent doesn't matter. Give me my 20 million.
Yeah, that's.
Give me my 25 million. You think AJ is going down to 5 million?
No. That's a good point. That's a good point.
He's not getting out of his bed for that. But you're right. I feel like it not behind a paywall would be fantastic for her. But then how you say it, do you sell it as AJ's rebuild or just AJ versus White?
I would just sell it AJ versus White. Don't bring the word rebuild into it. I would just, I'd actually try and just old beef, heavyweight beef. Do you know what sort of way? It's nearly 10 years. Just don't even mention the rebuild. Don't mention the losses. Just heavyweight beef.
Yeah.
Dylan White, 10 years later. Let's see it.
You know, I'm coming round to the idea that Tyson Fury won't fight again.
I still think he will.
Do you?
I think he will. I don't know why. I just think he will. I think he is holding out. Part of me feels almost like he's holding out for Usyk to go so he can just come in and snag one of those belts. See, still the best.
Yeah.
I think so.
Imagine he does come back and he doesn't fight AJ and he fights like Dubois.
Oh, man, I'm giving him all the credit in the world for that.
Yeah, like just comes back and that Dubois, this is again me overthinking. Dubois somehow starches Usyk and in walks Tyson Fury to fight Dubois. Could happen.
Could you imagine he could yet be undisputed?
I can very imagine Dubois chinning Usyk. I can
imagine him chinning Tyson Fury too.
Oh, I think he'll chin everyone.
He could chin everyone.
Man, honestly, I've never seen someone so confident. The way he walks around right now, very, very confident. All right, let's wrap up on some good news for Ellie Scottney. In fact, beyond good news, incredible news. Eddie Scotney has now signed to MVP Promotions. I did say this a couple of weeks ago.
You did say this.
The MVP are going to hoover up all of the female talent. They've started doing it already. But I think with Ellie Scotney, they've got someone who fights the way they want to see fights happen in America.
Exactly.
Her fighting style is,
I love it,
aggressive.
I think they said on the article, they have her as pound for pound the best female fighter in Britain. And I can't really argue. Maybe Chantal, I prefer Ellie Scotney. I do. I think I prefer her style. And I think she is one of those fighters you could watch.
Is that what they said?
They actually said that. I watched, Ellie Scotney was sharing it all over X, and I looked at the video clip and I was like, oh, pound for pound, the best female fighter in Britain. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
That's interesting.
And what's gained for Ellie and MVP is a catastrophic loss for Eddie Hearn.
Okay, this is what I was trying to. I was actually trying to reach out to someone at Matchroom and ask, has she almost been loaned out or is she left?
I'm judging by that. I would say left.
Wow.
Judging by that,
I said this the other day to someone. I almost feel like Eddie, and I could be wrong, but I think Eddie's almost left the female fight game behind. I feel like his thing was Katie.
His thing was
Katie. And obviously Katie's last couple of fights have been on that MVP promotion thing. So I almost felt like...
I think he has tried with Sky, but in the nicest way. Sky's style is... Katie Taylor has that eye-pleasing style.
Yes.
Whereas Sky, she's easy on the eye, but her style is just, okay, please do something.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Ramla Ali's gone. Chantel Cameron's gone.
Gone.
Do you know, Sandy Ryan kind of went, gone. I don't know. She's at least a couple of fights have not been on a Matchroom show.
She's gone.
This is it. So I kind of feel like he's thought, you know what? Nah. That's kind of what it feels like to me. It could be wrong, but that's kind of what it feels like to me.
Literally, if you think of it like this, he has Sky.
Alicia Baumgardner gone.
Gone. Yeah, but there's no one else. Literally, it's just Sky now. Because I'm trying to think of his female fighters. I'm like, Sky. I would have said Ellie Scotney. She's gone. Who else?
You might be right. There's a few. There's like Beatrice Ferreira.
Yes, Beatrice Ferreira.
But again, there isn't much. There's not enough anymore.
Like he was signing all, like at one stage he had Sky, he had Katie, he had Natasha, he had Chantel, he had everyone.
He had all of them. He had Savannah. He had Savannah.
That was a loss.
He had Savannah at one stage.
That was a big loss.
I almost feel like Eddie's like just said, you know what? Go.
Yeah.
And he can't offer Ellie Scotney anything bigger than what she's going to fight on in that card. Netflix, on the undercard of Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano 3. It's going to be enormous. And I felt so happy for Scotney. There was videos of her sort of looking up at America, MSG, the smile on her face. Like she said, I can't believe I'm from Catford and now I'm fighting at MSG. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy. And she is a cool girl. Like she always came across as an absolute, like I know you've obviously worked around the zone before. She comes across as a great girl and I'm delighted for her.
Yeah, I always felt like, not that, she wasn't being held back because sometimes it's up to fighters to kind of sell themselves as well. But I almost felt like he never really was able to get her the right dance partner or whatever, right? And one thing about Jake is, again, he's now fully focused on his women's division.
Yes.
He's got Amanda Serrano, who, again, is almost morphing or at least turning in from a fighter into a
promoter.
President.
Because when you see, they were at a basketball game and you kind of got the impression that Serrano, although she's still active, like that's the kind of,
I love it.
She's the figurehead.
I love what's going on there.
I like it as well.
Yeah, because she even welcomed Ellie. Like, hello, Ellie, welcome to the team. The future. I think she called Ellie the future.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And I like the idea of that.
I see Amanda as kind of like the right-hand woman. It's the best way to call it. Like Jake Paul is the guy, but Amanda Serrano
it's almost free
next.
now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not just Jake and Nikisa. It's Jake, Nikisa, and Amanda.
Exactly.
100%. 100%. She is definitely signed more than just a fighter's contract.
Oh yeah, that to me, that is not a fighter's contract. No way. There's a lot more going on there than just that. A hell of a lot. There's a lot of work internally she's doing. And listen, he is changing these female fighters' lives with these purses, with the exposure, everything.
All right, have we missed anything? By the way, me and Gman sometimes miss stuff because there's so much going on. Have we missed anything?
I don't think we have. I think we are.
That's it?
I think we're good. I think that we've wrapped up.
In my head, like, have we covered everything? Probably have.
I heard Liam Cameron will be facing Ben Whittaker and it will be 10 rounds.
Okay.
Ben Shalom said it was a costly mistake. I can imagine it cost him a fair bit of money.
Yeah, it's cost him at least very high 5 figures, if not 6 figures, if not 100 grand.
I was going to say, I was like, this is my purse. Here's the extra zero.
Maybe, or the fight doesn't happen. We'll end on this one. Moses Atalma It's just been announced his opponent for the Josh Taylor Echo Usman will be a guy, I think it's Mike Balogan, who's like a former NFL star turned boxer. We've seen a lot of these stories before and they don't end well.
No,
a former NFL star turned boxer who was on a run and then he ran into the wall that is Murat Gassiev and got stopped in 2. That's who Moses is fighting next. Happy or not?
Happy, yeah. No, I am.
Okay, interesting.
Now, I see a lot of people are going to say, oh my God, he's fighting. Hang on a minute. He's 20 years old. This is his, 11th or 12th pro fight. He was trying to chase Mike Tyson's record. It's not going to happen. So why do we need to force him
let's
and go,
breathe.
Bring
Let's
him back a
calm
bit.
down, everyone. Again, if this guy was good enough for Gassiev last time out, what's the issue with Moses fighting him? Moses is still very much learning. Again, you're right. If we're not breaking Mike Tyson's record,
Slow it
pump
down.
the brakes.
Exactly.
And let's just stay busy. That's one thing they should do though. If this is the type of opponent, the level, so it has dropped a little bit, then I want to see him busy.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
I want to
It
see him
shouldn't be
stay
3
busy.
fights a year. It should be 5 or 6.
No, he's not. He's still in the learning phase. He's only pro 2 years. He's not at a stage now where it's like, oh, let's do 2 or 3 fights a year. No. Stay busy, stay active, learn your trade. The pressure is off now. That record is gone. You ain't going to beat it. Doesn't mean you can't beat Herbie Hig's
The
record.
biggest pressure for him, and we'll end on this actually, the biggest pressure is to keep his feet on the ground.
Exactly.
Because,
he's done that. No, I think he's done that
It's
very
going to
well.
be so difficult though. Because even watching him at that Queensbury show, I'm not joking, you'd almost think the heavyweight world champion has just walked in the building.
Yeah.
Like the crowd, the noise. I was like, honestly,
crazy,
you'd think
isn't
that
it?
Tyson Fury has just come in.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, dude. And he's only 20 dealing with that.
Well, I've met most of the time. I actually interviewed him at his first show with Frank. That was on the Biterbi yard card. And straight away, he was only, 18 at the time. I was like, for an 18-year-old, his feet are well and truly on the ground. And I think he's going to stick. If it didn't happen then, I don't think it's going to happen now.
And he's got the right
older
person in Frank Warren. It's almost
Frank
like a
will-
grandfather to him. I'm going to say a father, but a great-grandfather.
Man.
To kind of look after him and guide him and just make sure that...
When do you ever see Frank Warren fighters lose the run at themselves? You never really do, because Frank is always there. He is always there,
They've got a good
keeping
team.
an eye on
They've got a
them.
good team to make sure everyone's okay. All right, there you go. Episode 11 in the books. Another long one, just because there was so much to talk about.
There's always so much to
What
talk
can we
about.
do, people? There's so much to talk about. Do me a favor, as always, make sure you like, share, leave a comment. In the description is Gman's YouTube channel. Go and support him as well. So important. It's so important we support each other. And I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. If you're looking for the best cameraman in the business, his name is Nathaniel, and the link, his contact details are in the description below as well. All right, we'll see you for episode 12. Kind of different episode 12. You know what I mean when you see it next week.